it's not a perfect stat, but plus minus, if you look at it, Nelly Cummings played 23 minutes and he was 0. And you lost the game, basically the other 18 minutes you were minus 25 without him. I think does that speak obviously volumes about how important he is to you guys and what you're doing?
Yeah.
Especially early in the season like this.
Yeah, he is. He's really important for us. Like I said, we had lineups out there that we've not practiced with, guys in different positions, especially in the first half with the foul trouble that we had. And so it did hurt us not having Nelly out there.
Greg, Jeff, what changed defensively when Fede and Blake got into foul trouble and had to sit for a while?
Yeah, it wasn't just Fede and Blake. It was just us together. Like, we weren't connected defensively like we had been, and we weren't talking. They just saw open lanes to get to the basket. They drove us. Our individual one-on-one defense was not what it needs to be. And so again, we'll learn from it. We'll get better, and we'll be better next time we play.
Jeff, is this game a real example of why you really need the big guy inside?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, we need John, but this game is not just the example of that. John's, I think, one of the better players in our league, and so we definitely do need him. But again, that had nothing to do with tonight's outcome.
The fouls, that obviously changed the way you have to coach and also play defense. Is that?
Yeah, it changed everything. When we tried to go to a zone, we haven't worked on zone as much. Just trying to get our man-to-man right and better. But again, we were in so much foul trouble, and with the way the game was being called, I didn't want to put guys in. We ran the risk. Nelly had 3 at halftime. I contemplated, do I start him in the second half? I did. He picked up 4 right away. And so it was just, it was chaotic, and we didn't handle it well.
Jeff, they outscored you, their bench outscored you guys' bench 42-10. What can you say about the depth that West Virginia was throwing at you tonight?
Yeah, they have a lot of good players. They do. They have good players, guys that are older. They went to the transfer portal as well and got some guys. Toussaint had an outstanding game. I thought, I think Trey Mitchell's their most talented player. Those 2 guys, the kid Wagyu, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was terrific. And so, look, they have good players. They played really well.
Jeff, what did you make of the atmosphere at the beginning of the game? And is that something, we haven't seen here in a while. Can you build on that?
Yeah, hopefully. First of all, the atmosphere was outstanding. And especially our student section, they have been outstanding so far. We've tried to do things with them and how they were the first game, how they were tonight. They were here early. They were in the lobby. They were standing in the rain, all of those things. So we're incredibly grateful for it. Just disappointed that our performance wasn't worthy of the energy that they gave. They kept it going throughout. They were cheering us on. So grateful for that, and hopefully that's something that continues.
Jeff, what's your sense of Ugley's participation next week?
Yeah, well, hopefully he can start doing some contact stuff in practice starting next week. And if he does that, if he's able to do that and has a couple of good days, there's a possibility that he could be available for Wednesday.
Jeff, what was your team's mood like in the locker room after the game?
Not good. We just got our butts kicked, so I wouldn't expect it to be a great mood in there. But it's early. We'll learn from it. We'll get better. We'll use this as a teaching lesson. I'm glad it happened early, certainly not this game and against this opponent. But it gives us something to learn. We haven't been through adversity. Everything has been terrific for us so far. Now we got smacked in the face. Let's see how we respond. And I feel good about the character of our team that will respond.
Jeff, we saw some visible frustrations from some of your guys, and just some of the calls and how things are playing out. How do you settle your team down when those frustration starts leaking into play?
Yep, we have to have poise in the midst of chaos. And we knew that coming in. We just didn't do it. It's easy to say, but when you're out there and they're pressuring you and they're banging you and all these different things like that, it's easy to say that, to have poise, but you have to be able to do it. That's where, maturity, having, not having some guys on the court, having some different lineups, it changes some of the things that, we tried to work on offensively. And again, give credit to them because they put us in those situations. If we don't turn the ball over as much, then maybe they don't shoot 65% in the first half. A lot of those were just in transition. you know, and you know, the way they cut, all of those things. I mean, they put us in positions, the way they pressure, you get frustrated, so now all of a sudden you push off. We have to be able to be poised in those situations. And so this is a learning lesson. We'll play some teams this year that will pressure like that. And when we do, we'll be better. We'll use this to get better.
Coach, obviously, next year you guys go to West Virginia, and that's the last game of the series. I mean, you've kind of been involved in it now for a few years, just kind of wondering what your thoughts are on the series, and, you know, would you like to see it continue?
Yeah, the series is awesome. You know, we need to do our part to make it more of a rivalry, but it's awesome. I hope it's something that continues, should continue.
What was kind of the mood maybe at halftime, and was it just foul trouble, or what kind of led to the game kind of unraveling? Because West Virginia was shooting the lights out, but you were still much more in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was the turnovers, it was the odd lineups that we had. It was, you know, not being able to be poised. So the mood at the halftime was, hey, let's be poised. We'll have our group in there, and we got to defend. We have to do that. I mean, they shot 65% in the half, so we have to be better on that end. Let's be more connected. It was more upbeat and trying to, you know, get us to realize, like, hey, we're still right there. If we can correct these two things, our defense and then not turning the ball over, being strong and being connected, that it will be better. It just didn't happen for us.
Blake and Nate were both forced into guarding bigger players, bigger forwards. How do you feel that those two specifically did, you know, on the defensive side tonight?
No one did well for us defensively tonight. Nobody. You look at what they shot, you know, 52%, 53% from the field, 38 from three. That's not good defense. So it's not just Blake or Nate. We didn't play good defense tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.